Predicting weather requires powerful computers and people who have many years of experience in the business. Sometimes, though, it's hard to take the weather seriously, especially when you watch a TV weatherman who makes a fluffy story. And that's the story from the field. Chris, back to you.
Thanks, John. Taking a look at the national map, out west, we have a 5% chance of major earthquakes in California, and that could cause some flight delays, and that could be bad. And turning our attention to the East Coast, we have a major hurricane working its way towards New England, and it could peel it off the map and blow it into Canada, and that could be bad. And taking a look at the rest of the country, we have some high pressure, some low pressure around. Undoubtedly, we'll be seeing some clouds and some thunderstorms from time to time. We'll be keeping an eye on a snowstorm or two, which, well, we're not exactly sure where that's going to move or how that's going to affect us. But be assured, folks, we'll be keeping an eye on it here in the Weather Center right here. No doubt.
Chris Jones, as you might guess, was not crushed by the high pressure of his job as a TV weatherman. He's not a TV personality, but is a meteorologist with the National Weather Service based in Riverton. Forecasting the weather must be some sort of mystical science. Tell me about forecasting weather. Is that an easy proposition? Is that a hard thing to do?
It's a challenge, and it's a constant. There's something going on every day in some part of your area. So we rely a lot on observations, both automated and human-based, but we're also trying to look at model forecasts and use our expertise to provide a 7-day forecast.
Tell me about the technology. What kinds of tools do you work with? Big computers, I imagine.
Yes, and contrary to popular belief, we have no longer a need for dartboards or dice. We have gotten rid of those. It's a difficult process, and it's not as easy as everybody thinks to get my high temperature exactly right at my location. But we take it personal in terms of a challenge. That's part of the fun. I think that's what invigorates a lot of us to do this job. In the last several decades, we've made progress to the point where a 3-day forecast now is as accurate as a 1-day forecast was then. So there's progress, and the models have a lot to do with that. The computers are vital to what we do, but the human intervention is vital. We could show you model forecasts that would say, oh my gosh, it's going to have rain day after day in this pattern, when we know that in westerly flow in the basins of Wyoming, we won't see a drop of rain in that flow. So the expertise at the local level still definitely comes into play. The computers can do so much, but we still think that's where our relevance is as local forecasters, is using that expertise and saying, yeah, but that's not what happens here. This is what happens there. We know that.
A beautiful sunny day can become a very stormy place in minutes.
I think as we look at, especially wintertime, we're talking about, usually we can see that the weather's going to have some kind of dramatic change, but we're looking for those 10s or 15 minutes things are going to change. In terms of preparedness, we're always telling people about staying abreast of the weather. So again, knowing who to call. And then having your vehicle prepped for winter. I have a winter safety kit, jumper cables, sand, extra non-perishable food items, extra medications.
Everybody wants to know, what is this year's winter going to be like?
We have arms of our agency, the Climate Prediction Center, that start to look out to a year. Should we see maybe some substantial snowpacks? Perhaps. I mean, that looks likely, but on the order of what we saw in 2010-11, no, because it's not as strong and it's not as persistent. So hopefully we won't be dealing with what we saw in the summer of 2011.